Okay, so I feel like I just tried to film this video and it ended up not working out because I was almost at 10 minutes. I'm trying to figure out a way to film this without, I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to probably just have to go into like maybe a couple of different parts for this one topic. But I think it's probably going to be the most important topic that I talk about when it comes to sarcoid, and that is going to be medication. So for me personally, I was on over 20 different medications. I was on a high dosage of steroids, chemotherapy. I was on everything. And I was just so sick and tired of being sick and tired that I went down a whole bunch of rabbit holes, went through holistic healing, and I realized, okay, well, I'm going to just take that chance and try and heal myself. And I was successful. I still deal with a lot on the daily, but I've been able to heal myself enough to say that it worked for me. Now, a lot of people look at that and they want to jump to immediately like not go on their medication or like, I don't know, do everything I did. And I need to just make it very, very clear that getting off your medication without a plan is not going to be a good idea. Yeah, I know I did, but I'm not saying that it was a good idea. Now, a few things that I think people don't understand is if you have, let's just say, you have sarcoidosis on your lungs, and the doctor tells you that you have a whole bunch of lesions and they just keep, like, there's just more and more that just keep coming, they're gonna probably put you on a medication, and it's to make sure that those lesions don't become permanent and become like permanent damage and become permanent scarring, which then you could potentially need a lung transplant. Needing any type of transplant is actually pretty common in sarcoid because of how easily it can affect different organs, and how many people have sarcoid and they have no idea, and then they just get scarring because they were going untreated. So it can kind of just go, yeah. I wanted to get this out there because it's just not talked about very often, and it's not talked about when it comes to sarcoid. The medications aren't even talked about. They kind of just put you on things. I think it's really, really important that if you are taking any type of chemotherapy drug, so like a methotrexate, Imuran, anything like that, even the IVs, you really, really need to be careful. And I mean be careful with everything. So I wasn't told until it was actually too late, but you should not be going out in public, okay? If you are on any of those medications, you should not be going out anywhere. Anytime that I went anywhere, and remember, I was so sick that it's not like I could even really go anywhere, but anytime I went to any doctor, any appointment, any test, I was getting really, really sick. And when you have sarcoid and you get sick, your body's going to go into inflammation. So then you're sick on top of that, and then that can make you go into a flare-up. So, real fun. I know, so fun. So you have to just be really, really careful with everything that you do. And it's just important to talk about because nobody tells you. Like, they don't, or they tell you when it's like too late, and then you're like, oh, that's great. Like, I had a doctor telling me how methotrexate, how I have to be so careful, and how hard of a drug it is, and all this other stuff. But they completely forgot to tell me I need to be on folic acid. So that's another thing too. If you are on methotrexate, make sure you are on folic acid. You can get really, really sick. I feel like I have a lot to talk about when it comes to medication. So I'm kind of debating at this point where I want to go with this, just because I have a lot to say on this topic. Because not only is it important to talk about the methotrexate and how easily you can get sick, and I mean, you need to be treating yourself like a cancer patient. If you're on that medication, that's exactly what you need to do, and that's what I didn't do, and that's kind of why I kept getting sick. And I kind of want to go back to the methotrexate. It makes you a different person. Like, it makes you a different person, and I hated it. I hated every part of it. And don't get me wrong, the steroids, they don't make you yourself. They actually give you a lot of anger and a lot of all of those other problems. But the methotrexate, there's something about it, man, that I just felt like I lost a huge part of myself. And I felt like that a lot during my journey, but that medication, it just, I can't explain it. It just did something to me. It did something to me, and I didn't want it to ever do it to me again. Like, I needed to find a way out of it because it was just hell. I was taking 12 pills one time a week, and the way that it would work is, I don't even remember anymore, but I think it's the day that you take it is like your best day, or like the next day is like your best day. I don't fully remember because now it's been over 2 years, but that's how I had to live my life, was like, I have to make sure I take it on this day to be kind of okay for my like doctor's appointment. And it was a lot. And I feel like it kind of put a lot of trauma in me, and there's probably a lot that I deal with now that I don't even realize because of all of that. But it will definitely do a lot of not fun things to you. It will just make you feel like a completely different person. So anyway, that's only talking about the methotrexate, and I think I vaguely talked about the steroid, because the problem with the steroid is if you don't go on medication and it's getting worse, then you are risking the potential of scarring, and you don't want to have permanent scarring because you can't go back from that. So I think that's kind of where it can get very, very complicated and difficult for anyone trying or even thinking about going natural or doing it on their own. Is there's always going to be that little thing in there, or that big thing in there, like, oh, it could make it worse. So I think that's important to talk about too. You don't want to be on a steroid for the rest of your life, let alone a high one. I am dealing with like cortisol damages, permanent damages that they say are affecting me because I was on a long-term steroid. So it's just like there's a lot behind all of it. Oh, and with the methotrexate, if you are not on folic acid, I don't know if I said it, if you're not on folic acid, you need to get on folic acid. Make sure that whatever medications you are on, you have a doctor looking at all of this and actually making sure that you are allowed to be on all of that. I was getting stomach ulcers because my doctor was not verifying that different medications can get taken together. He was claiming that if it was bad, the pharmacist would tell him, but I got stomach ulcers. So, yeah, don't make that mistake. I don't know, man. You gotta do your own research, but like also take into consideration the permanent scarring. And again, I did know about that. But for me, all of the problems I was having, because all of the symptoms I was getting from the medications that were causing even more problems, it wasn't worth it to me. So for me, I took that chance. But I have to talk about it because I don't want other people just like doing it without knowing the consequences. I'm at 10 minutes, and there's more I feel like I could talk about with medications. Maybe I'll make another part 2 on that part, but I don't know, because I just don't have enough time, man. 10 minutes is nothing.